Morning, Digidia. How's it going, Sarah? How you doing? Having a good day so far? I'm good. How about you? I'm doing all right. My allergies are really bothering me. I don't know if you get allergies, but recently they've been really bad. So I've had to take a bunch of allergy medication. Sierra, good morning. So other than that, you might hear me blow my nose a couple times, but other than that, I'm pretty good. It's a nice day out today. How are you doing, Sierra? You having a good day so far? Sorry about that. Okay. Morning, Jaden. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Guess I'm doing well would be the correct way to put it. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Jaden? Yes, I may not be as involved or active today because I'm in the middle of trying to help my youngest sister with her schoolwork. I'm good. I'm happy to hear you're doing well also. Oh, it's okay, Sierra. It's very nice of you. Um, so I guess it's kind of a good transition. It looks like probably three of you. Maybe there's a fourth, not really sure, which is fine. So today it's not there's nothing me teaching. So I mean, yeah, I will, but there's an assignment we're doing. So I'm not going to be teaching any new material. So it's going to be a review of 8.6 still. And here, I'll pull it up real quick. So you guys will see I assigned it as classwork. So if you go into your classwork, you click on 8.6 study guide, and then click on the PDF. So it looks like someone actually already did it. This should be the assignment right here. So if you have that, go ahead and open that up now. Okay, so if anyone else funnels in, that's fine. Um, Here's what I want to ask you guys. So I don't know, you might have already started, but yeah, so Jaden, that's what I'm going to get to. We're doing all of it. It's not a huge assignment, so it shouldn't take too long. I'm going to ask you guys, since you're the three people who showed up, go ahead in the chat, let me know what would you prefer to go over. So there's three different parts. There's equations, solving rational equations. There's a couple word problems, and then there's solving rational inequalities. So yeah, three different types of problems. How do you guys want to spend the next hour with me? Since I'm here, what would be the most beneficial for you? Yes, Jaden, for the second page, I do want you to use the number line. So the number line thing, the number line thing is a good way to find your intervals. I think it's really useful. So I definitely think that it's best to use that. Plus, it's helpful for other inequality types of equations. So it helps you with all that stuff. So that's good. So yeah, you guys, I can work on one section. I can work on a specific problem. I can work on nothing and just let you guys go through it in the next hour, and then just ask me questions as you go. I can give you answers for questions as you go, all that stuff. Jane, you said I want to do a couple of problems on the second page. Okay, perfect. If you want to pick one, Jane, go ahead, and we'll do that. Question 6. All right, let's start there then. Jaden, would you like to go through it like I'll just do the whole thing right now? Or would you like to try it, see how far you can get, see if maybe you can get the answer, and then we can talk about it? What would you prefer? Let me try and then we can go over it. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah, absolutely, Jaden. Go ahead. So, guys, this is perfect timing for you as well. If you guys want to just go ahead, do number 6 on the second page, and then we'll all go over it together if you'd like. Sierra, you said x equals 0, x equals 2. Sierra, I think you're kind of on the right track, but this is an inequality, so your answer should definitely be not an equation. It should be some sort of inequality. Jane said x is less than -1. Good. X is greater than 2. Good. Very close, Jaden. Very close. So it looks like I think you did the math correctly, but the intervals maybe at some point got mixed up. So let's take a look at this one. So number 6. Let me move this closer to myself. Okay. So number 6, you have 3 divided by x squared minus 1 plus 1 is greater than 2 divided by x minus 1. So step 1, and so Sierra, you can follow along as we go. If you want even more of a kind of slow explanation, Sierra, watch Monday's stream on YouTube. That'll definitely help you out. So step 1 is to find the zeros, or I should say find the vertical asymptotes. So we want to find when the denominator is equal to 0. So we want to set each denominator, so we have x squared minus 1 and we have x minus 1 equal to 0. This becomes x squared equals 1. So x equals plus or minus 1. So that might have been a mistake, but I don't think it was. Didn't sound like it. So it could be, when you take the square root of a number, right, you have to think of it as the negative answer and the positive answer. All right, so that's one of them. And then this one, right, you just add 1 to both sides. So it looks like the total answer then, because this is 1 and then this is 1, it's plus or minus 1 would be your zeros, or where your denominator is equal to 0. Okay, so that's good. We got that step. It sounded like from your guys' work you also got that step. So I think we're okay with that. 2 is to actually solve the equation. So make that inequality an equation. So now I have 3 over x squared minus 1 plus 1 equals 2 over x minus 1. We got to get a least common denominator. Oh, fumble. If you want to, you can treat this fraction as just 1 over 1, right? So we're not really worried about that. It's more so worried about these two. And these two don't have a common fraction, because you got to remember, you got to treat these together. So it's like the whole quantity x squared minus 1 and the whole quantity x minus 1. Their least common factor is going to be them being multiplied together. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm sorry if you were writing that down. Let's actually take this even smarter. Look at this value right here. X squared minus 1. We can rewrite that. So how can we rewrite x squared minus 1? Well, that's a perfect square. X squared is a perfect square, and 1's a perfect square, because x times x is x squared. 1 times 1 is 1. So we call that a difference of squares. So you guys have seen that quite a bit. Hopefully you caught that. And this will make our lives a little bit easier, because we can rewrite this as x plus 1 times x minus 1. And then I'll just write the rest of the terms like this. And now you can see the least common denominator is going to be really a lot easier. Right? Because now I can see that the fractions share an x minus 1. So we know that x minus 1 is definitely part of our least common denominator. And then this first fraction has an x plus 1. So x plus 1 also has to be included in that. So in total, the least common denominator has to have both of the denominators of 3. That's the biggest denominator. This multiplies into that, and then 1 obviously can multiply into anything. Okay, so going from here, we're going to take our original equation and we're going to manipulate it a little bit. Each one of these fractions have to have our least common denominator. So I'm just going to write those out now. Three is going to stay the same, right? Because there's nothing to change that fraction. The denominator stayed the same, so we keep the numerator the same. 1, you have to multiply by the entire denominator in the numerator as well. So I have to put x plus 1 up here and x minus 1 up here. And then 2, same thing, except now I have to multiply by just x plus 1. Because to get from here to here, I multiplied by that x plus 1. So I would have 2 times x plus 1. All right, and now I'm only solving the numerator. I'm going to distribute this now. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. Figure I get that out of the way. And now you're going to go through and solve for x. Well, let me get my... Okay, I'm going to go through this pretty quick, but hopefully your work was similar. It sounds like you guys got to this point. So the 3 is going to stay there. I'm going to FOIL this. I'm going to get x squared minus 1 equals 2x plus 2. I know I have a quadratic, so I'm going to get them all on one side of the equation. So I have x squared minus 2x. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So there's no constants. Factor out an x. So I get x times x minus 2 equals 0, which means x equals 0 and x equals 2. Okay, so you guys, looks like again, like you did pretty decent on this portion, it seems like. Let me know if not, if there's a confusing part. But I need these values, and then let's go back to up here. I also need these values. So my number line, I should have anywhere that the denominator is 0, and anywhere that makes the actual equation true. Any x values make the equation true. So now I'm going to make my number line. And I have negative 1 is my smallest value, then 0, then positive 1, and then 2. And I guess I should probably expand it because we also need the right and left of those. I'm going to do my asymptote here. All right, now I have to check values in each of these intervals. So going back to the original inequality. So I'll write the original inequality right below it as a reminder. It was 3 over x squared minus 1 plus 1 is greater than 2 over x minus 1. All right, and so now I don't want to write all these out. It's going to take a while. So what you guys would do, and I'm hoping you did, if you didn't do this, you can let me know. You want to check each of these intervals. And when I say intervals, it's to the left and right of all of these asymptotes, all these little dotted lines. So left of negative 1, I pick a value. Let's say negative 2, and I plug it in here. So I get negative 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3, so that turns into 3 over 3, which is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is greater than 1. So yes, that's true. And it looks like you guys, seems like you guys got that as well. Okay, so that's good. In between negative 1 and 0, let's try negative 1/2. This would be 1/4 minus 1, negative 3/4. This one I'm going to need a calculator, sorry. I mean, I could probably do it, I just don't want to mess it up. So you would have negative 0.5 times negative 0.5 minus 1, 2 divided by negative 0.75 plus 1. So the left side you would get negative 5/3. The right side you definitely won't. So it's going to be actually, the left side, I'll just do it. It's going to be 0.5 minus 1, 2 divided by negative 0.5. I think this one's actually, sorry guys, let me do this again. Negative 0.5 minus 1, 2, oh, there we go, okay. I typed in my calculator wrong. Yeah, so this won't be true. This number will be 5/3 or negative 5/3. This number is negative 4/3. Negative 5/3 isn't bigger than negative 4/3. So we cross out that interval. You try positive 1/2, it's going to work. So from 0 to 1, it's going to work. Between 1 and 2, it's not going to work. and 2 and beyond, 2 to infinity, it's going to work. So your final answer, if you guys wanted to write it down, would be x is less than negative 1, or x is between 0 and 1, or x is greater than 2. So the one interval, Jaden, you missed was this one in the middle. And I don't know if you had that interval and you just didn't do the math correctly for it or what. If you want to let me know, that'd be great. I did not do the math for that one. Okay. Sierra, how about you? How do you feel about that? Pretty decent after you explained it. A lot better now that I know how to do it. Thank you. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you guys want to try another one on that page, maybe 5. 5's a similar difficulty, I guess. Go and try that. Let me know. Let me know what you get. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so two different answers. How about I go through this? I will say, Jaden trying to go off topic. I'll tell you what, Jaden. Let me go through this question, and then I'll tell you what I'm gonna have for lunch today. All right. So, two different answers. One of them is pretty close. The other one, I think, Sierra, your answer, you got this -7. Unless, yeah, if you guys are both doing number 5, we'll see where you got that from. So pay attention, guys. I'm gonna go through this one a little bit quicker than the last one. Okay, so just try to follow along with your work. Okay, so step 1. I need to find the zeros, so x minus 1 equals 0 and x equals 0. So there's one of them. And there's my other. So those are going to be the points where, I forget the words they use. I just call it the excluded value. They call those the excluded values. I just call them the vertical asymptotes. So regardless of how you look at it, those are important. Step 2, I need to solve the equation. Okay, and I need to make my least common denominator. I'm not going to write that down. I know what it is. It's going to be these two multiplied together. So it's going to be 4x plus 5 times x minus 1 is equal to 2 times x minus 1 times x. So notice I eliminated a lot of steps that we did before. You guys probably might have had steps in between this, but at some point this would have been the equation you had after you had your least common denominator. Okay, so both of you go ahead and check if that's, and Sarah if you're still here, go ahead and check if that's what you guys got and let me know if that was the step you got had issues with. But if we keep going, distributing that 5, I'm going to have plus 5x minus 5 equals 2x minus 2 times x. Combine like terms on this side, I'm going to get 9x minus 5 is equal to distributing 2x squared minus 2x. It's a quadratic, so I'm going to put them all on one side. So I get 2x squared. I need to subtract a 9x, so it's going to be minus 11x, and then add 5, so plus 5. And that'd be equal to 0. I wrote it kind of backwards in my head. Well, I wrote on the paper a little bit backwards. I'm sorry if that was confusing. I moved everything to the right side because I knew there was a positive 2x squared there. So I subtracted 9x over to get negative 11x, and I added 5 over. So if you're a little bit confused on that. Now this step, yeah, okay, I'm just going to do my Xbox. So it has to multiply to 10 and add to negative 11. That would be, the only values would be negative 10 and negative 1. Make my window. I have 2x squared. I have 5. I have negative 10x, and I have negative x. And I look for some common, or greatest common factors. So 2x up here. That'd be x. That'd be negative 1. And that would be negative 5. So my factor is 2x minus 1, x minus 5. So x equals 1/2, and x equals 5. Again, I know I'm going through this very quickly. With this stuff, this is all review. So I don't know how you guys did it. You guys could have used quadratic formula. You could have used completing the square. You know, you had options. So whatever you guys chose to do, it was on you. You could have even graphed. I wouldn't have cared if you put in Desmos and found your answer. That would have worked too. Whatever you chose to do, this should have been your two values. So just double check your work there again. Now I'm going to make my number line. My smallest value is 0. Next smallest is 1/2. Next smallest is 1. And then I got a 5. Make my little dotted lines here. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't see that. I apologize. Okay, now I just got to decide based off of the original inequality which of these intervals hold true. I can go through this if you guys want, and I can actually show you on a calculator and like show you what I'm doing. Go ahead and tell me now if that's what something you would be useful, or if you know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying this. You're plugging in values left to 0, so like -1, -2, -3, whatever you choose, into the original inequality. If it's true, you shade it in. If it's false, you put an X. In this case, it's true when X is less than 0. It's false. It's not true when it's between 0 and 1/2. It's true when it's between 1/2 and 1. It's not true between 1 and 5. And it's true when it's greater than 5. So your final answer is X is less than 0, or X is between 1/2 and 1, or X is greater than 5. That's the solutions to this rational inequality. Okay, Jade, no problem. All right, so what I'm actually going to do then, I'm glad you asked, Jade, and like seriously, I think I take it for granted because I know with the calculator stuff, a lot of times it's like, why is Mr. Harris spending time wasting here? But if it's something that would actually be useful, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go look at Desmos. I'm going to use Desmos. You could use your normal calculator. And I'm just going to put the inequality up here first. And you know what? If you haven't realized, you can get your answers pretty easily by looking at your graph. So just throwing that inequality in, you can find it. But that's not the point. I'm giving you this stuff not because you're going to put in a calculator. I'm doing this because I want you guys to work with algebra and finding this without a calculator. But you guys can see, right, from 5 and greater it's shaded, from 0 and less it's shaded, and then from 1/2 to 1 it's shaded. So like just typing it in gives you your answer. But that's not what I'm worried about again. So when I'm plugging it in, the first interval I'm looking at is going to be on my paper. So you guys saw on my paper, we had these intervals. The first one was less than 0. So I'm going to pick a value less than 0. Pick something easy. Like I'm going to pick -1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this entire thing right here. So I'll just copy and I'll paste it. Except now everywhere I see an X, I'm replacing it with a number less than 0. So in this case, I'm going to choose the number -1. Okay? So now we're going to look at this. Let me think if this is... give me a second. I'm just trying to think if there's an easier way so you can just get the answer to see if this is true. If not, it's okay. What I can just do now is break this apart. So 4 divided by -1 minus 1. That's -2. 4 divided by -2 is -2. 5 divided by 1 is -5. So my question for you guys is -7 less than 2. And I know you guys are at home right now going, yes, Mr. Harris, it is. That's what you guys sound like. So yeah, you're right. -7 is less than 2. So this is good. This interval is good. That's why I shaded it. All right, let's try another interval. So I'm going to copy and paste this. Now it's between 0 and 1/2. So pick a number between 0 and 1/2. I'm going to choose 1/3. So everywhere I see an X, I'm going to put 1/3. Okay, now let's break down each of these pieces. So 4 divided by 1/3 minus 1 is -6. 5 divided by 1/3 is 15. -6 plus 15 is 9. So is 9 less than 2? Hopefully, again, you're saying to yourselves, are you crazy? No, it's not. And you're correct. So I put an X, which I did on my paper. You put an X through that interval because that's not true. It doesn't make the inequality true. 9 is not less than 2. Okay, and then you do the same thing between 1/2 and 1. So like for this case, I'm going to do like 3/4. These fractions are a little annoying. I get that. That's okay. Let's try 3/4. All right, so 4 divided by 3/4 minus 1 gives me that. 5 divided by 3/4 gives me that. Negative 16 plus 6.6666667, whatever, is negative 9 1/3. That is less than 2. So again, this is true, makes the statement true. We can shade that region, and so on and so forth. Does that help a little bit? Does that make sense? Are you guys okay with that? Maybe? Oh yeah, no problem, Jane, absolutely. I have a bad habit of taking things for granted like that, so it really is helpful to me when you guys tell me stuff. Because a lot of times I'll say, oh, just put in Desmos, and then I don't realize, like, you guys probably don't know exactly what that means, which is perfectly reasonable, but, sometimes my brain is just like, oh, yeah, I've been doing this for however many years, so I'm like, oh, yeah, this will be fine, I got this. So I'm glad you said something. I appreciate that. But like I said, honestly, especially for your homework, guys, I think that's important to understand what I'm doing, obviously. But like at the end of the day, if you just if you put this in to Desmos and you just look and use your eyes, that's fine with me. The biggest concept that I want you to get accomplished on this unit is this whole idea of step 2. Really, I think that's at the end of the day that boils down. I think that's the most important step is actually solving a rational equation. And the whole inequality is just nice because you can kind of put it together. But that's really what I'm super worried about. This portion down here, finding the answer, it's good to know, but it's not as crucial to me. Okay, so we had about 15 more minutes. Again, Digidio, I don't forget about you. If you're still here, by all means, have some input because I've been helping Jade and Sierra's questions. Go ahead and you guys can pick out another question you want to do, and then I can go over it from the first page or the second page, whatever you want to do. You can just work on your own for the next 15 minutes. Up to you guys. Jane, you said problem 4 on page 1. So I'm going to ask Sierra and Sarah. If you guys have a question, I'll do, just because Jane, I did yours first. If Sarah, you or Sarah have a question, I'll do yours next. But if you guys don't, if you guys are fine with number 4 on page 1, we'll do that as a group. Also, Jaden, since you asked and I forgot to answer, for lunch today, what I'm gonna have is gonna be I think I'm gonna have salami, and I put it in my microwave oven. So I'll put a salami, like heat it up, heat the bread up, make it all crisp. American cheese. I've said this before, and you guys I think made fun of me. Mayonnaise and Italian dressing mixed, delicious on a spicy Italian sandwich. Highly recommend it. So I'm gonna mix some Italian dressing and mayonnaise. I cut up a bunch of peppers and onions. So I'm gonna put an assortment of peppers and onions on there. Cut that thing in half. That'll be my sandwich. And then on a side, I'll probably have some spicy nacho Doritos. Love those things. So I have some of those. And then I'll probably have a banana or some strawberries. Usually have some sort of healthy snack. That'll be my lunch. What do you think? Give me a score 1 through 10, Jaden. What do you think? So yeah, exactly. Making my own Subway, Jaden, because I'm saving money, right? I want to save money and also make a mean sandwich. I'm going to be honest with you. Make a very mean sandwich. I would argue my sandwich would be more appealing than Subway's. The only difference is that Subway's is way bigger and it has more ingredients than mine, so I can't really replicate that. But I think I make a pretty good sandwich. 8 2/3 out of 10. Wow, Jaden, that is a professional score right there. I see this isn't the first sandwich you've graded in your life, but I'm honored. 8 2/3. Are you kidding me? It's a great score. And I'd like to thank the Academy for this award. Thank all my family and friends. Food critic Jaden confirmed my sandwich making abilities. All right, well, Jaden, do you want me to do number 4? You want me to go through it like step by step, or would you like to try it? Try to brighten the mood a little bit, Jaden. All right, that works for me. Let me know when you're done. Go on, you can type your answer in the chat. So, Sierra and Sarah, if you're still there, we're going to do number 4 on page 1. Okay. Drum roll for Jaden. Did you get the answer right? Correct. You are correct, Jaden. It does in fact. M does in fact equal negative 1 over 24. Well done. Guess I don't need to go over that one then. Got that on lock. Anything you want to ask about it though? Just in case. Maybe you were stuck at a part or you put in Desmos and found the answer. Okay. More towards the end. Okay. Yeah, so no big issues. Perfect. Sounds like you're in a pretty good spot then. Do you have any plans this weekend, Jaden? Ah, no, honestly, no. I would love to go golfing. Be cool if I can get some people to go golfing with. Maybe my brother will come with me. That I would really like to do that. I've been dying to go again. So maybe do that. Maybe make myself a nice little dinner. Um, yeah, not really. How about you, Jane? You got any plans? Maybe go ride this mountain bike trail in Finley. Cool. That's a good idea. How long do you usually go on your bike trips, Jaden? How long do you usually ride? Yeah, I know. I know you're fishing at all times. Yeah, this is a perfect. You know, I don't know. I guess I don't really want to put it like opportunity, but this is a that's a perfect activity for quarantine because you're doing it by yourself most of the time fishing. Right? You're kind of you're in a peaceful spot, kind of on your own. So it actually is very conducive to our situation. If I ride around by me, it's about 1.5 hours. And out on a trail, it's more like 2.5. Wow, that's pretty impressive, Jaden. I don't think I could ride a bike for that long. Well, actually, I have ridden a bike for that long. I take that back. I actually did it this past summer, but I don't really. It was just kind of like a one. It was I was on vacation in Colorado. So I think I might have told you this before, Jane. If you ever looking for like just beautiful scenery where you can fish and ride bikes, mountain bikes on mountain trails and stuff, Colorado is like plentiful. We went to Denver, so like we went to spots right outside Denver. But man, I'll tell you what, there's some beautiful places in Colorado. So if you ever can convince, I mean, once you get older too, take a vacation out there. Maybe your parents would like to go with you or something. It is awesome. Anyways, when I went, I went on a bike trail for I think we were out for 3 hours in the mountains, and we took a break, so I guess I didn't ride it the whole time straight, but yeah, it was painful. My legs were sore. I was tired. I was losing steam for sure. We stopped once in a while to take a couple pictures and drink some water. Yeah, yeah. When I went, we packed ourselves some lunch, so we stopped and ate lunch, which is even cooler because you like find some nice water, a nice little patch, and just kind of enjoy the beautiful landscape. I made my mom a table for Mother's Day. Oh, that was very nice of you, Jaden. I bet you'd love that. It's pretty cool you're making a table. You got a talent, I'll tell you what. You should use that talent for sure. I would probably not be able to make a table. I've never worked with like woodworking. It's never something I've done. Oh, and you stained and everything? Man, that's awesome, Jaden. Yeah, I've never gotten into that. Something I think I would enjoy because it's kind of meditative, you know, like working on like um anything kind of along those lines, like woodworking. I feel like it's a pretty meditative process. It takes a little bit of time, but if you're patient with it and you know what you're doing, obviously, I think it can be pretty calming exercise. I'm trying to look for more stuff like that. Sometimes video games isn't so calm, or even playing golf. What I've tried to my I've tried to change my mindset with golf. When I first started playing, it just got really frustrated, but now I don't really play. I just play because I enjoy the to be outside in the beautiful weather and on a beautiful course and just kind of like hang out. So that's a pretty meditative experience for me too. That's why, yeah, I knew you were going to Ehovie. I just wasn't sure if there was any complications with all this going on. It's upsetting, but good for you. I think you're making the right decision. And then one day, Jaden, I'll ask you to make me some of my furniture. And then you'll give me a discount, right? You'll give me that teacher discount. That's all I care about at the end of the day. I just try to groom my students into getting professions where eventually along the line I can just be like, hey, I taught you math at one point. You should give me a discount on whatever you're offering. That's my whole scheme. That's why I teach at the end of the day. People don't know that. It's all about the long game. All right. Well, it is 12. Our hour is up. Just so you guys know, if you guys keep working on this assignment and you get it done, I'll be back on in an hour. So from 1 to 2, I'll be back on for office hours. Hop in, go ahead, have a discussion, have a conversation. If you need any help on anything, let me know. I will be here. I'm going to go eat some lunch. And if I don't see you guys Friday, I'll have our usual office hours / stream. So I'll go over any assignments, either the Alex assignment or this assignment, this 8.6 study guide, whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm sorry, did I say Alex? Not Alex. Khan Academy. Either the Khan Academy or this assignment, whatever you guys want to talk about on Friday. Again, optional. If you're here, I'd be happy. All right. Yep, I'm going to using fractions decimal all the time. Yes, you are, Jaden. Hopefully, my obsession with fractions will help you along the way. Here, well, I'm gonna hop off, guys. I'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of your days.